Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Oh, it's good to see someone again. Are they doing the daf at all in Shul or all? I can't hear you. You're mute.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I figured I'd come back as of, I
Yeah,
think tomorrow I'm allowed back in, so, no, so,
I hope to be back tomorrow too.
no,
God's help. Rabbi
unbelievable.
Rabbi Green is back too,
Ah,
although he's planning with God's help to go on Thursday, depending on his final tests and everything.
unbelievable. Yeah, this has been like, let's put it this way, an unusual week and a half.
I know. I had it before Pesach. It was a very, very, very long week and a half, 2 weeks. It just
Well, we played at Astor on Monday night, and then Monday someone came down, and then Monday I tested positive. I said, oh well. But I
yeah.
don't know. I never had temperature. I had a runny nose, and that's about it.
I didn't have temperature either. I had a
Yeah,
cough, and that's all. I had a cough.
right.
But
It
then
lingered.
huh?
The cough lingered a little, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I just felt so tired. I slept.
Oh, I kept on reading this thing. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's just like an epidemic all of a sudden."
Yeah, I know. I know.
Unbelievable. I mean, then Rabbi Green and Heshi, and I think, oh my gosh, the only reason I notified the shul, I said, because I go to the Daf, I better notify people, just in case.
I mean, well, the yesterday the daf and Friday the daf was held upstairs in upstairs
Mhm.
because the rabbi says he didn't want the daf to be held in the library. It was too close, and everybody sitting too close might, if somebody had it, that would have spread it. So he said, let's move out up into the upstairs. Everybody can sit at a separate table, and
All right. Oh well, this too shall pass.
yes. Although I can tell you there were 30 people in shul yesterday. That's not, and for the 7:30 meeting, that's not a lot. And they needed 2 people from the 7:30 meeting to make the 7 o'clock meeting.
Right.
So that tells you people are not coming.
It's not that they're not coming. Is that I don't think they're allowed to. They weren't allowed
Right.
to. Really.
So
I wasn't allowed out of the house. Well, I got a call from the Board of Health when I tested positive because when I went for the PCR, and I got a call from the Board of Health saying, "Oh, please stay in the house. Quarantine
right.
yourself till Saturday. If you really want to go, stay till Sunday." I said, "All right, that's it. Monday, that's it. I'm out."
Monday.
So sometime today, I'll venture out of the house.
Okay.
All right.
I hope Rabbi Green is giving this year.
Well, I don't know.
Because it's late already, but maybe
Yeah,
they could maybe davening was late today.
let me see. No. Well, he's not on Zoom, so
We'll give him 5 minutes.
yeah. I don't think he's coming on. What?
You feeling better? I
Yeah, I
can't hear.
can't complain.
Oh, you're lucky. No, it's Harvey.
Is
Yeah.
Ruben?
Ruvain was just on. He's on now.
Yeah? All right, I'm looking for my numbers. Yeah, okay, he's got to be on because I've got 3. Okay.
I'm here, Rabbi.
He's
Okay.
back.
How
Okay.
are you feeling?
I'm better. Not all better, but I'm better.
Tell Mordecai I have to go to the doctor, so I'll be leaving.
He
You're gonna be what time today?
Hopefully the regular time.
Okay.
All right. Pesci hasn't been getting it.
She is sick.
What? I know he has COVID also. He spoke to me during the week.
He's being cautious.
No, but he may not be he may not be familiar with how to get on Zoom. Anybody heard about Zev or anything further? I called him before I got sick.
Zev sick?
Zev had
He
other
said health
health issues.
And Harvey got the
Harvey had COVID. Yeah.
on Zoom.
Yeah, I had.
My strings.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Is he?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize. 94?
Yeah.
It's like a badge of honor.
Okay, I'm going to start the learning sponsors. Then we'll pick up with the Gemara. Okay. Okay, Year of Learning by Sue and Arnie Garlick in memory of Malcolm Mann and Philip Mann. And Yisrael David ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch and Beryl ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch. Yosef Meir ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, Henya Rivka Pro Rosna bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch. In memory of family murdered in the Holocaust. Harav Tzvi Hirsch ben Shlomo Yaakov, Sarah bat Ephraim, Yisrael David ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, Ephraim ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, Adia bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Miriam bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Pesel bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Shalom ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, Shlomo Yaakov ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, Shmuel ben Arav Tzvi Hirsch, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of Toby Paris, Sarah Tova bat Yisrael Dov in her memory, Charlie Gelfenstein and Sam Levine in memory of Ramona Levine, Rachel Mata bat Asher, friends of Nina Mornester, Nechama Azna bat Yitzchak Aharo, many friends of Stephen Vigdor, Lezecha Nishmat Simcha Melech ben Meir Leib Halevi, Friends of Marcy Kurtz in memory of her great niece, Leah Bracha. Lydia, month of learning by Lydia and Abe Krause's many friends in honor of their 50th anniversary. David and Mendel Cheslow in memory of his father, Moshe ben Ruvain Mordechai. Susan and Reuven Podolsky in memory of her father, Simcha Bunim ben Yeshua. Haran and Mel Haller in memory of her father, Yosef Eliezer ben Tzvi Hirsch. Susan and Reuven Podolsky again in memory of her mother, Chaya bat Avraham Dov. Beatrice Pizer in memory of her father, Yitzchak ben Shmuel. We have a week of learning by Jack Gilman in memory of his brother, Zev Yosef ben Yitzchak, by Sharon and Michael Glass, who, by the way, also had COVID, okay, in memory of her mother. What? Sharon and Michael Glass. They live in Wolverton A. Chaya bat Avram Baruch. He usually goes to the 7 o'clock minyan in the morning and comes to the early mincha marav when they're here. They're snowbirds. Gail and Leslie Kaplan in memory of her mother. She had COVID when she came back from Israel. Nosha Spritzka bat Yosef Chaim Bachal. Judith Iger in memory of her son, Anshel Yitzchak ben Aharon. Michael and Judith Paretsky in memory of his mother, Rachel bat Avram. We also had today being the 9th, right? Yeah, there is nothing else today. May Shamas have an aliyah, crank of fear, Valti Yeshua Shematzliel, and Choban Israel, good Gaben Shkat. Okay? All right. So I want to pick up actually where we left off a little bit yesterday on the top of Samach Gimel, Amud Aleph, right? Where we saw Vahanosei at the Bat Achoto, talking about positive things. Ohev Shcheinav, Mikarev et Krovav, Nosei at Bat Achoto, Vamalvem Sela La'ani B'Shat Chako. Okay, that on the top of Samach Gimel, one who loaned money to somebody in a time of need, Alav HaKatuv Omer, about him the Torah's text cites the following, namely, Az Tikra Hashem Ya'aneh, Teshava Vayomer Chanein. Calls out, Hashem will answer. Okay, that's where we ended yesterday. Okay, so what happens? As we pick up in the new Gemara, we're going to see a number of statements by Rabbi Eliezer. Some of them deal with appropriateness in terms of a marital partner, okay? Others deal with, some deal with another topic as well, okay? But I want us to understand that this is a lot of Agadat, okay? So that should be, we'll try to move through it the best we can. Okay, all right, so what happens, says the Gemara, we're going to have Siman, a mnemonic device, Isha, Lukarka, Azar, Zot, Shte, Abrachot, Tagre, Pitchai, Pachtaye. Okay, so all of those are ways of remembering statements, most of them by Rabbi Eliezer, that covers most of the daf. Okay, most of the Amud actually. Amar Rabbi Eliezer, Kol Adam she'en lo isha, eino Adam. Anyone who doesn't have a wife is not a true man. Okay, what does that mean? Shene'amar, Zachar u'nekeva bar'am, vayakra et shmam Adam. Male and female, he created them, and he called them humanity, humankind. Okay, so in other words, that was his view. Va'amar Rabbi Elazar, and he says again, Kol Adam she'en lo karka, a person that doesn't have land. Eino Adam, he's also not a complete or substantial person. Shnei Hashemayim Shemayim Lashem va'aretz natan levnei Adam. Okay, heaven goes to Hashem, and the earth belongs to humanity. Va'amar Rabbi Elazar, another example. Bob, you okay there? You all right? Yeah. Okay. My dichtiv, what does it mean when it says Selo Ezer Kenegdo? Studying the pasuk from the story that Adam v'Chava, right? What does it mean, Ezer there? Zacha, if he merits, Ozarto, she assists him. Okay, Lo Zacha, if he doesn't merit, Kenegdo, she's opposite him.
Opposed to
Okay.
trouble.
Ve'ika Amre, and there are those who say, Rabbi Eliezer Rami, that Rabbi Eliezer raised it by showing the contradiction in the pasuk. Ktiv Kenegdo, it's written Kenegdo, V'Karinen,
No yud.
okay, right, V'Karinen Kenagedo, with a yud, which pronounces it opposite him. Zacha, if he merits Kenegdo, okay, Kenegdo. I'm going to translate Kenegdo here along with him, right? Lo Zacha, if he doesn't merit, Menagdeto, then she
Beat him up.
makes him suffer. Okay.
Whips him. She beats him up.
Well, that would be a more direct translation of the word. Okay, we would hope not. Ashkachei, Rabbi Yossi, Eliyahu. One day, Rabbi Yossi came across his good buddy Eliyahu, and he said to him as follows: Kativ Aselo Ezer. It says, I will make him an Ezer. B'ma isha azarto la'adam. In what way is a woman a helpmate to mankind? Right? Amarle, and notice what he says here. Adam mevi chitim. A man brings in the wheat. Chitim koses. Can he chew the wheat? Pishtan, regarding flax. Pishtan lovesh. Can he wear the flax? Okay, so Gemara goes on, right? Lo nimseita me'ira enav.
Can you get me a book so I can follow along with the whole?
Yeah, uma'amida al raglav. All right, what's the point here? We're going to see that.
Here.
Okay.
This is an art scroll.
No, I don't mean.
No, I can read this one as long as you tell me what page we're on. Is it in-
63A.
Is there English there?
Yes, there is. 63A. But
you tell me-
sit far from other people, please.
Okay. Where can I sit?
Thank God she wasn't the last.
Okay, so what we're saying is, lo nimtzeit me'ira einav ma'amido al raglav. Don't we find then that there is a woman who enlightens his eyes
Gives him
and
another
and
perspective.
sets him up on his feet? In other words, she gives him
He can't do anything without her.
behind every good man is a better woman. Okay.
I'll accept.
Okay. Amar Rabbi
Especially in
Elazar.
your case and mine.
Va'amar Rabbi Elazar. And Rabbi Elazar says, "My dichtiv." Where is it written? Okay, we're about. Look, it's near the Zavin Velo Tizol Tosafot. Okay, that's roughly where we are. Okay.
For her.
All right, Erwin.
63A1,
No, it's-
the bottom of the first column.
Okay.
No, it's actually at the bottom of the second
All
column.
right. Va'amar Rabbi Elazar, he says as follows, my dichtiv. What does it mean when it's written as follows? Zot hapam etzem me'atzmai ubasar mi basari. She's flesh of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Okay? Milamed sheba adam al kol behema v'chaya v'lo nitkarara da'ato ad sheba al chava. I didn't write the Gemara. Remember? Okay, it means that his mind was not as at ease until he met up with Chava. Okay, and right, maybe.
Despite his efforts at finding companionship.
Right, Va'amar Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Elazar again says, "My dichtiv." What does it mean when it's written? V'nivrechu v'cha kol mishpachot ha'adama, that they'll be blessed all the nations, all the families of the world, of the land will be blessed,
Through.
right?
of-
Through the Jewish people, or through, all right? Amar le HaKadosh Baruch Hu Avraham. This is what Hashem said to Avraham. Shtei brachot tovot yesh li lahavrich bach. There are two special good or special blessings that I'm going to bestow upon you.
Let's hear it's a
Okay.
pun. Grafos means branch.
All right. Okay, what is it? Root hamoaviyah v'naamah ha'amonit. Okay, why do we choose these two women to show that they are special blessings? First of all, because Ruth is the ancestress of King David, right? And the second is Naamah was the woman from whom Shlomo and then the rest and others came forward and produced the line, the Davidic line. Okay.
The forebearer
Right.
of Yeshua.
Right? Now, Kol Mishpachot Ha'adama, when it says all the families of the earth, Afilu Mishpachot Hadarot Ba'adama, even those families who live in the earth. What does it mean in the earth? Ein mitbarchot ela b'shvil Yisrael. In other words, even those who are I'm going to phrase it this way. Those who simply work the land, the lower caste, or the poorer community, or things like that, they also have received blessings due to the benefit of the Jewish people. Okay. And furthermore, says the Gemara, Kol goyei haaretz, afilu sfinot habaot migalia la'aspamia, einan mitbarchot ela b'shvil Yisrael. In other words, not only are they blessed those who work the land and live on land, but even the sailors who travel, okay, from the land of Israel as far across the Mediterranean. It's throughout the Mediterranean. Okay, that's the area. Okay, Va'amar Rabbi Elazar says again, Atidin kol ba'alei amanayot shi'amdu al karka. Interesting statement, he says, that according to Rabbi Elazar, in the future, those individuals who are craftsmen, okay, will eventually be established to work the land. Shnamar, remember, we're dealing with a strong situation here between an agrarian society of Eretz Yisrael and a society in Bavel, in Babylonia, that was moving away from agrarianism and into commercialism.
Also the Phoenicians.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so what happens? Wait till we get to Ben Sira if you want to talk about that. That's what I'll tell you about that later. Okay, so what happens? So, Shnei Amar, as it says, V'yardu me'an yotehem kol tufsei mishum v'chaim kol chovlei hayam al ha'aretz ya'amodu. Okay. Va'amar Rabbi Elazar. Again, he says, Ein lecha umanut pechuta min hakarka. You have no level of work which is, I don't want to say demeaning, but it is the least appreciated in some cases in the society than the farmer.
Well, he means lucrative because of the next line.
We'll see. Shnei Amar, as it says, v'yardu, and they went down. Rabbi Elazar, chazia lahahi'ah. What happens? Rabbi Elazar happened to see a particular piece of land. Deshade be kirava lapute. Okay, and he saw that they had prepared this land on the course plowed it on the course its width. Amarle itashdaya leorkaich. Okay, if you were to plow it, this field along its length, hafuche beiska tavmina. Okay, in other words, better that you should have plowed it in the opposite direction,
But that
And-
still wouldn't be.
and
better
that
than
in
buying it
theoretically that would have given you better produce, but it's not the same as if you involve yourself in a more commercial kind of business. All right? Hafuchi beiska tav minach. But involving yourself in a commercial enterprise is still better. Okay? Rav Alaveni Shivli. Okay? And what do we have there? Okay.
A field of wheat.
So what happens? Rav happened to go in walking through the stalks of a shield of wheat. Chazanhu deka naifam. He saw that the wheat was waving. Okay? Amar lahu. And he said to them, Ini yeft it nofe. If it's such that it's waving like that back and forth again. All right? Hafuche beiska tav minach. Okay, there too, it may be better to involve oneself in commercial events.
Here it's wheat, not cabbage. And wheat was the best crop, but still being a merchant would be more lucrative.
Well, the implication is, I was going to just put a little different spin, where one has wheat, fine, one produces the wheat, one gets the bread, okay, one can sell the bread, one can eat the bread, but all of this kind of work is extensive, whereas if one is involved in business, one is able to use that cash that they make and acquire those same things at a faster rate or at a better rate. We're going to see the Gemara is going to pick up on that, okay, and to raise that question. Okay. All right.
We'll get there.
All right. Amar Rava, says Rava. Me'ah zuze be'iska. Okay, 100 zuz in commercial work. Kol yoma basra v'chamra. Every day, that person could eat meat and drink wine. Me'ah zuze ba'ara. But if he had 100 zuz of land, in other words, the wheat, etc., what happens? Milcha v'chapura. He would wind up having salt and the
You
peas.
would have to eat unripe wheat.
Right.
You would have nothing else. to
Right?
eat.
V'lo od ela magne le ha'ara. But not only that, okay, he would have quarrels with other people regarding the land, right? Umarme le tigre. Okay, and what would happen? Okay, and there too, we would see that, right, that he would be involved then in having to deal with other kinds of problems, like buying clothes. Okay, Umar Rav, says Rav Papa, Uzara velo tizbain, says Rav Papa, excuse me, the seed and
Better
don't
to be a farmer than
seed
to
and
buy.
rather than not to buy. Afalgav de chihadra de ninhu hani mivarchan. Okay, even though he says Rav Papa that the blessings for the two of them are really the same. Zavin velo tizo, he argues. Okay, buy and don't sell it. Okay, 1 second. All right.
Plant,
Don't
grow your own
Zavin
food.
velo tizo, hani mili bistarke. Okay. Okay, this is again regarding to deal with these. Better that you buy when we say buy, or things like that. We're talking about things like mats, okay, that one would just simply sleep on for the house. About glima, but when we're talking about buying clothes like one's robe, there, okay, lo mit rameya le. There you don't go out and just buy any old robe, okay, because there the question is it might not fit you. Right.
Don't. He's saying if in order to survive, if you have to sell stuff, sell furnishings, but don't sell your clothing. Because if you sell your clothing, you may not be able to buy more. The word means sell, not buy.
Right. So, Zavin. Right. Okay. That's not what the Shinantam had here. Okay. Tom velo tashpritz. Furthermore, excuse me, if he says if you have a hole in your wall, for example, below tashbitz, and you don't plaster it over, shpots below tivneh, okay, or plaster and don't build. Shekol ha'osek b'binyan mit maskan, because one who gets involved in a lot of building puts himself in
One's spending more
danger,
than he thought.
and as a result, he loses money. Kvots zavin ara, okay, jump, so to speak, to right to buy the land, all right. Right, maton nasiv itita. Okay, here again, he says wait to marry a woman. Okay, why? We're going to see. All right, nachet the darga nasiv itita. Okay, and then he says furthermore, when you do marry a woman, he encourages one to marry a woman slightly below one's social status. Okay, sak darga bechad shushbina. Okay, but go up at least a step. In other words, when you try to make friends and neighbors with those who are a little bit higher social status than you are. Amar Rabbi Elazar bar Avina. He says as follows: Ein puranut ba'a le'olam, ela b'shvil Yisrael. That there is no disaster or no misfortune, okay, that comes to the world except for the Jewish people. Shnei Amar, again saying the pasuk, Hichrati goyim neshamo pnoteim vehicharavti chutzotam. Okay, the implication being that when misfortune comes because the Jewish people are not practicing appropriately their traditions and their observances, and therefore when it occurs to other nations, it's a reminder. It's to tell the Jews, okay, it's because you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do. That's why the other nations are suffering as well.
There's a famous story where there was a big fire in Paris, and Reb Yisrael Salanter heard about it, and he said because Jews in Petersburg were smoking on Shabbos.
Okay. You have to know who he is to understand that statement too. All right. Uktiv. Amarti ach tir'i oti tekchi musa. Okay. Rav hava miftah mi Rav Chia. Rav was departing from Rabbi Chia Amarle, and he said to him, Rachmana, okay, litzlach mimide de kashem limuta. May the Almighty save you from, well, it could be a fate worse than death, or something terrible worse than death. So the Gemara asks, Umi ika mide de kasher mimuta, is there anything more problematic than death? Okay, Nafak, he went out, Dak, he examined, Ve'eshkach, and he found the following pasuk. And I can find, says this pasuk, something that is more bitter than the certain kind of woman. Okay, Rav hava ka mitzara le redabeitaihu. So the Gemara goes on to tell us that Rav had a wife who would give him solace. Ki amarla, okay, when he would say to her, Avidi li tal puche, make me some peas. Avdale chimtze. Instead, he asked for making lentils, I'm sorry, and he said she made him peas. Chimtze, he asked for peas. Avdale tulufache. she made him lentils. Ki gadal Chia bere. When Chia, his son, okay, what did he do? Apichla. His father would tell him, tell your mother to make me such and such, and he would reverse it. Okay? Amar le.
Children know how to manipulate their mother.
Okay, Amar le, he said to him, I'Alia lach imach. Look how your mother has improved, he said. Okay? Amar le. So he tells his father, Anahu deka apichnela. I'm the one who, because I changed what you would say. Amar le, and he said to him, Hainu deka amre inshe. This is what people will say. The nafik minach tama milpach. Okay, that what comes from you, okay, what's the reason is that it comes, so to speak, from your mouth. In other words, what you're saying is ultimately lies. And I don't want you to grow up to become a liar. Okay? At lo ta'avid hachi. You shouldn't do that, he says. Shne'amar yilamdu lashonam davar sheker ha'ava. The gomer. Okay. Apparently, he wasn't the only one who had a wife.
This
who
is
did.
Rav Chia. He's the one who learned to manipulate his mother, but in his marriage, his wife gave him a hard time.
Okay, well, we'll see. Rabbi Chia hava kamet sa'ara le the Beitai. And Rabbi Chia, when he was married, his wife also gave him a hard time. What happened? Ki hava mishkach midi. Okay, it happened with the following situation. Okay, he would find something, and what would he do? Siyar le bisudre. He would find a gift for his wife, and he would wrap it up in his cloak. Umaite nehale. He would bring it, and he would give it to her. Amar le Rav. So Rav says to him, okay, vaha, kamitsara le lamar. But doesn't your wife give you a hard time all the time? Amar le, he says, dayano shemigdalot banenu umatzilot atam. It's enough that she raises our children and she saves us from achet, saves us from sin. Okay?
Meaning that he has a wife, he doesn't have to look elsewhere.
Sid, you all right there? Okay. Okay. Okay, we're on the top of.
It's really mixed up. It's talking about Isaac and Nectar. All of a sudden, it's talking about Misha this way, but you know,
Tomorrow's not mixed up. We're mixed up. We're mixed up.
This is a raya that in 2,000 years, nothing has changed.
The basic understanding is, we were saying, is the wife a good helpmate or a opposite? Okay, and that's what it's trying to give examples. That's all.
You said that even though she had this bad knee, that she was still appreciative of what she did.
Right.
The implication seems to be that Chia was a smarter than his father.
I also
Or he
stayed
learned
together for
from
the
it.
sake of the children.
Yes, Rebecca.
I think this is an example of a woman committing domestic, a form of abuse against her husband, and he's trying to placate her, but he's bullying him from what I can tell.
Yeah, we'll see. Could be. Wait, we're going to get to another story, and you'll see how correct you are. All right.
All right, let's go back there.
Okay, let's go on now. Mikre le Rav Yehuda, the Rav Yitzchak Bere. Bob, can I ask you to get me a cup of hot water, please? Okay, we're gonna. This was an example where Rav Yehuda, who's teaching Bible to his son, Rav Yitzchak. Okay, that's why the Gemara has the word mikre there. Okay, so that we understand. Okay, that he's teaching. Thank you very much.
Excited a pasuk.
Right. Okay. So what happens?
Same pasuk we had.
Umotze'ani mar mimavet et ha'isha. So citing that same pasuk that we had. Okay. Marley Kigon Man. Who are we talking about? Asks the son. And he answers, Kagoni Mach, like your mother. He says, Vaha Matnele, Rav Yehuda, the Rav Yitzchak Barei. But, he says, here, Rav Yehuda was teaching his son the following. Ein Adam Motzei Korot Ruach, Ela mi Ishto Rishona. That a person, a man, does not get his, let's say, true satisfaction in a way. Hold on.
Man. Except for the wife of his youth. The first one.
Okay. Except the wife of his youth or his first wife. Shnema, Yehi Mekorcha Baruch V'Samach Me'eshet Me'urecha. The pasuk basically saying, the wife of your youth. Va'amarle Kagon Man. So he asks the same question. Who are we talking about? Kagon Imach. Again, like your mother. Mat Kif Tkifa. She is very strong-willed, aggressive almost. Ba'abure mi abra b'mila. But she can be appeased with a single word. In other words, she has an anger. She
flies off at the handle.
but she's easily calm. Hechidami ishara'ah. So now we get to another question. So what do we mean then by a evil woman? Okay, watch out, Rebecca. Amar Abaye. So what does Abaye say here? Mikashta le tacha. What does she do? She prepares and sets the table. Umikashta le puma. And she also prepares her mouth.
The whole dinner.
Okay? In other words, she's going to berate him throughout the whole meal. Rava Amar. What does Rava say? Mikashta le tacha. She prepares for him a table. Umahadra le gaba. And she turns her back to him and doesn't even pay attention to him. Amar Rabbi Chama Bar Chanina. He says as follows.
So just let me comment. The Mefarshim asked, but she did make him dinner, and they explained that if she didn't, he'd go to a restaurant or he'd have another woman somewhere, and she wouldn't have a chance to give him a hard time.
I don't know.
So,
No, on the contrary, the second thing is that she prepared him dinner, which she's right, and she turns her back to him because she gave him peace. He could eat in peace.
no, that's not what.
No, it doesn't mean that.
I know that, but that's one way of translating.
No. Amar Rabbi Chama Bar Chanina. Kivan shenasa Adam isha, avonotav mitparkakin. Once a man has married a woman, his sins crumble. Shnei Amar matzah isha matzah tov. Yafek ratzon me Hashem. Okay, so that is again trying to show the benefits of marriage. The Ma'arava in the West, Kinasiv Inish Itita, when a man married a woman, right? Amre lehachi, they would say the following to him. Matzah o motze, did you find or were you putting out? Matzah, dichtiv, find. Matzah isha matzah tov. Found a woman, found good. Motze, you push out. Dichtiv, umotze animar mimavet et haisha. Okay? Amar Rava. So Rava now says, Isha ra'ah mitzvah legarsha. A wicked or evil woman, it is appropriate to divorce. Dichtiv, as it says, Garesh latz, right? Garesh leitz, v'yitzei midon, v'yishbot din v'kalo. V'amar Rava. And Rava now says, Isha ra'ah, ketubata merubah. What happens if you have a evil wife, but her dowry is extensive?
She can't afford it.
In other words, you can't afford to give her a divorce. Sarata, but Sarah. then what you do is you marry a second woman and you let the co-wife aggravate the first wife.
No, now the first wife has to start falling in line to compete with your affection.
Yeah, that's the point. She had they compete. All right. The amre in she, as people say, bechaverta, velo besiluta. Okay, as people will say, with one's neighbor and not by use of a thorn. Va'amar Rabba, kasher ishara'a kiyom sagrir. Okay, a evil woman is as difficult as a day of heavy rain. Okay, Shnei
It's a hurricane.
right? Dalaf tored b'yom sagrir ve'eshet medinim nishtava.
Storm and a
Stormy life. Man is due to a stormy wife, right? Va'amar Rava says as follows: a kama tova isha tova. How good is a good wife? V'kama ra'a isha ra'a. And how bad is a bad wife? Kama tova isha tova. How good is a good wife? As it's written, dichtiv matzah isha matzato. Okay, namely, I begava mishta'e kra. If we find regarding her praise in the pasuk, kama tova isha tova shakatuv meshebcha. How good is a good wife? Because the text praises her. I b'torah mishta'e kra. If the Torah then brings up her praises, kama tova isha tova she'torah nimshala ba. How good then is the Torah because it can be compared to her. In other words, she gives advice, she helps one on the proper life, things like that. Kama ra'ah, isha ra'ah. How bad is a evil wife? Dichtiv, umotzeani mar mimavet et ha'isha. I find again that pasuk. I begova mishta'e kra. If in regarding to her, the pasuk expounds, kama ra'a isha ra'a shaktuv megana. That here again the pasuk comes and seems to condemn her. I ben gehinom mishta'e kra. And if it talks about the gehinam, that's what the verse deals with. Kama ra'a isha ra'a shagehinam nimshalaba. Okay, because then, if she shows how bad she is, that she is like living in hell. Now, going on. Hineni mevi ra'a asher lo yuchlu letzeit mimenu.
LA, you have to wear the LA.
Hineni mevi ra'a asher lo yuchlu letzeit mimenu. Okay. Amar Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman Amar. Rabba bar Abu. Zo isha ra'a ktubata merubah. Again, a situation where an evil woman and her dowry is expensive. Netanani Hashem biyadi lo uchal kum. Okay, what happens? So Amar Rav Chisda Amar Mar Ukva Barchia Zo isha ra'a ktubata merubah. Again, the same example. What happens? B'ma'arava amru, and in the west, Eretz Yisrael, they said as follows: Zeh shemizonotav tuliyin b'kaspo. Okay, a situation where, he must pay with cash if he lacks land, and therefore that's why it may be difficult. Okay? Banecha uvnotecha netunim la'am acher. Amar Rav Chanan, so this is a different pasuk, given another situation. Amar Rav Chanan bar Rabba, Amar Rav. Zo ish eshet ha'av. This is the wife of the father, in other words, the stepmother. All right, the step. Begoy naval achisem. Okay, another part of a pasuk. Amar Rav Chanan bar Rabba, Amar Rav. Zo ishara'a ktubata merubah. Again, another woman, example of a wicked woman and the expensive dowry. Rabbi Elazar Omer, he says, Elu hatzidukim, or some might have the text meaning. All right, L'chein hu Omer. Okay, so how can we apply this idea of a wicked woman and expensive dowry to the whole idea of apostates? The following. L'chein hu Omer, and this is what he says. Amar naval belibo, ein Elokim v'gomer. Right, the fool says there is no God. V'matnita tana, and our Mishnah teaches as follows: Elu anshe berebia v'anshe marbetanai, people from two distant communities. Shemahalchin arumim b'shok, and they walk around relatively undressed in the marketplace. She'en lecha meshukatz u'mitu'av lefnei hamakom yoter mimi shemahalech b'shok arum. And you do not have someone more despised or more abominable before the Kadosh Baruch Hu than someone who
Is inappropriate.
parades in that manner in the public demise. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, says Rabbi Yochanan, Elu Chaberim. These are the Chaberim. Now the Chaberim, we should know, were the Persian Zoroastrian priests, okay, that became significant during the end of the time of the Amoraim, okay, in Babel during the Sassanid period. Okay, so we're talking the time of Rabbah, Abaye, and later. Okay, now up to that time, they did not have a lot of power, but with a change in dynasty in Babylonia, okay, they were able to take a lot of power, and the Gemara is going to tell us because of that power, they were enabled to enact various decrees against the Jews. Okay, and we're going to see that the Gemara is going to spell that out. So this is a little bit of historical reflection in the Gemara here. Okay, so what happened? Amrule the Rabbi Yochanan. They said to Rabbi Yochanan. Now remember, where is Rabbi Yochanan? In Eretz Yisrael. He's in Israel. So they informed him of the change, okay, in political structure in Babylonia, which allowed these anti-Jewish Persian priests to have power. And this is what happened. Okay, Atu Chabire lebabavna, that these Zoroastrian priests came to Babylonia. Shaga, he shuddered, nafal, and he fell from his chair. Okay, Amrule, they said to him, Mikable shuchta. They are, however, willing to accept bribes. Okay, Taritz Yativ. He then set himself back up and sat back down. Okay. Gazru al shlosha mipnei shlosha. And the Gemara is going to tell us now what happened is that these priests enacted 3 decrees against the Jews because of 3 aspects of Jewish life that weren't being observed properly. Okay? Namely the following. Number 1, Gazru ala basar mipnei hamatanot. They made a decree limiting the availability of kosher meat because of the issue of portions being given to Kohanim appropriately. Number 2, Gazru hamer chatzaot mipnei hatfilah. they made a decree about Jews being able to do immersion, tevila, okay, because it was not used to bathhouses, okay, because of improper observance of immersion. Taras mishpach. Third, the case kam mechatate shichvei, and what did they do here? They exhumed the dead, mepnei shesmechim biyom edam, because the Jews, okay, were
Celebrating Goyish holiday.
they were involved in the observance of Gentile practices. Okay, could have been particularly holidays.
Yom Eid,
Yeah.
holiday.
All right. Shnei Amar, as it says, Vayita yad Hashem bachem uba'avotechem, and the hand of Hashem will be against you and your ancestors. Amar Rabba Bar Shmuel, he says, Ro zo hatute shechvei, this exhuming the dead. Da Amar Mar, it said, Ba'avon chayim meitim chatatim. Because of the sin of the living, the dead are exhumed. Amar le Rava le Rabba Bar Mari. Kativ, it's written, Lo yesfu v'lo yikabru v'duman al pnei adama v'hiyu. Kativ, and it's also written, V'nivchar mot mechayim. Mavis, I'm sorry, mechayim. Amar le nivchar mavis rishayim shelo yihiyu shelo yichyu ba'olam hazeh yichatu v'yiplu b'gehinnom. Okay, that again, that they're chosen, right? The wicked are chosen so that they don't live in this world and they don't sin in the world to come. Uktuv b'sefer ben Sira. And now we're going to see a number of examples from the text of Ben Sira.
About marriage.
Okay, now, I'm going to just indicate to us very briefly. Ben Sira was a book that was initially composed in the Egyptian area, in the all right, from the Egyptian Jewish community. It was originally written in Hebrew and then translated into Greek, and it became very popular. Okay, and as we're going to see, the fact that it's quoted in the Gemara, right, is problematic in terms of the fact that when one talks about what books were accepted for Jewish canon, for Jewish learning, okay, whether Ben Sira was accepted by some but not accepted by others. But it's a book similar to like Proverbs, okay? So think of it in that context. A popular book at the time that was very similar to Mishlei, to Proverbs, okay? By the way, this is not the only place that it's quoted in Gemara.
No,
A Jewish book, yes. Yes.
it had some of the psukim were interpreted as heretical.
All right, it was problematic. All right. I'll tell you about more later. So what's the example he cites? Isha tova matana tova. A good wife is a good gift, l'ba'ala, to her husband. Uktiv, and it's written. Okay, also the following. Tova b'chet yorei Elohim tinatein. Isha ra'ah tzarat l'ba'ala. And therefore a good wife in his given to him is worthwhile, but a wicked wife is like a plague. Right, to kanate, what's the remedy? Yigorshena v'yitrapem mitzarato. Let him divorce her and heal from his plague. Isha yafa ashrei ba'ala. Okay, mispar yamav kiflayim. An attractive wife is is happiness to the husband, and it's like it doubles his years. Ha'alei meinecha me'eshet chen. Put your eyes aside from a woman of grace, in other words, of a upper class. Pen,
So married to someone
okay,
else.
particularly if she's married to somebody else. Pen tilkad b'mitzudata, lest you be caught in her trap. Okay? Al tat etzel ba'ala, don't turn towards her husband. Lemsoch emo yayin v'shecha, okay, to drink. In other words, don't socialize
With the husband.
with the husband of such a woman, right? Ki b'to'ar isha yafa rabim hushchatu, because in the status of such a beautiful woman, many have
Been destroyed.
been destroyed. Vatsumim ko haruga, and even more have wound up dead. Rabim hayu putzei rochel, many are the wounds of the traveling salesman, so to speak, of the merchant, right? Hamar gilim ledavar erva knitzotz mibaod machalat. I'm sorry, knitzotz mibaor gachelet. Okay, the wounds of the
spark ignites
right,
the
because
fire.
what happens, the salesman travels house to house to sell his wares, and this could be assumed to be having
He's tempted and
eventually succumb to temptation. Kekluv malay off, like a
chicken coop. is
coop,
full of
well, coop,
birds.
but I think a better like a cage which is full of birds, right? Kain batehem le'im mirma, so their homes are full of deceit. Al titzar tzarat machar kilo teda ma ile hayom. Don't worry, so to speak, about what the problems of tomorrow, because you don't know what will be born today, right? Shema machar ba ve'enenu, perhaps tomorrow will come and you won't be here. Nimtza mitzta'er al ha'alom she'ein lo, and he'll come to worry about the world that isn't his. Just a little further. Magar rabim mitoch beitecha. Okay, prevent many from gathering in your house. Lo hakol tavi beitecha, and don't bring all into your house. Rabim mihiyu dorshei shlomecha, but let many seek out your welfare. Gila sod le'echad me'elef, only reveal a secret to 1 in 1,000, because people can't keep secrets. V'amar Rabbi Asi, says Rabbi Asi, Ein ben David ba'ad sheyichlu kol haneshemot shebaguf. We saw this already, right? Ki ruach milefnei ya'atov neshamot ani asiti. Okay, so Tanya, now a new bright. Rabbi Elazar says, Kol my she'ein osek bepiria rivya, back to our old subject. Whoever isn't involved in the mitzvah, Ke'ilu shofech damim, it's like he spills blood. Shneamar shofech dam ha'adam, ba'adam damo yishofech. Ukativ batre, and after that it's written, Va'atem peru ravu, you shall be fruitful. Rabbi Yaakov says, Ke'ilu mima'et hadamut, it's like one reduces the image of the divine if he doesn't engage in Piriya and Rivya. Kibbutz Selam Elohim asa et ha'adam. Ukativ batre, and afterwards it's written, Vatem peru, etc. Ben Azai Omer says, Ben Azai, Ke'ilu shofech damim umima'et hadamut. It's like he sheds blood and reduces the divine image. Shneamar vatem peru urvu. Amrulo leben Azai, and they said to Ben Azai, hey, wise guy, yesh na'ed doresh v'na'em mekayem. There are those who speak well and those who fulfill what they speak. Na'em mekayem, those who are well to carry out ve'ein na'ed doresh, but it's not appropriate what they are saying. Va'ata na'ev doresh, and you speak well, ve'ein na'em mekayem, but it's not appropriate that you don't fulfill. All right, Amar Lahan, he said to them, Ben
He was
Azai,
unmarried.
he was a single guy. Uma eseh shenafshi chishka b'Torah. Okay, and what shall I do? Because my heart so lends itself, cries out for the learning of Torah. Efshar le'olam she'yitkaim al yedei achim. And it's possible that the world can be maintained by others. Tanya Idach, and another Braita teaches, and I'm going to go this real quick. Say, because it just repeats what the Gemara just said. Rabbi
The
Eliezer
only
says,
difference, this is Rabbi Eliezer saying it
Saying
instead of Ben
Kol
Azai.
mi she'eino seik b'piri who doesn't involve in the mitzvah, ki'ilu shofech damim, like he sheds blood. Shofech dam ha'adam, v'samich levatem peru v'gom. Rabbi Elazar says, Ben Azariah says, ki'ilu mima'et hadamot, like he reduces the divine image. Ben Azai omer, v'chulei. Amrulo the Ben Azai, yeshna ed doresh, etc. All right, Tanu, and that's where we're going to stop right.
It's exact same price, except
It's just all in the name of
Yaakov,
Rabbi
it's,
Eliezer.
Rabbi Eliezer.
Okay,
Bye, thank you very much. Stay well.
not right now this morning. I'll try to call you later. Somewhat better.
Stay well, everyone.
Everybody take
That Harvey on the other one?